Hello, guys, and we should be loading up momentarily. I think we're in now, and everyone should be able to start joining us here. I'm just sending out a few links, and then we'll get started with the roster reveal. So I'm literally just going to RNG 1 through 30 on my phone. I guess that's like the most official way to do it or whatever. So we have a complete lottery system. I guess if somebody wants to explain to me how to integrate that somehow into the YouTube Live, that would be great, but I'll just kind of do it in front of you guys. So first I'm just going to get some links out here, and once we slowly start getting everyone assembled, we will get this show on the road. I'm pretty excited. So as you guys know, the tournament will be tomorrow. And it will go from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And the winner of it will be the first ever BBGM annual champion. Hello, people in the comments. Hope the audio and everything is okay. If you guys want to let me know. But either way, I'm pretty excited about this. And we will get this going in 1 minute. Just finishing up getting everything together on my end here. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's the link to it. Yep, alright, and then I will drop it. Alright, so audio is good, and I just need to drop in a couple places so people have access to the streams. Let's see, give me 1 second here. Hopefully you guys don't hear the heater in the background. It's not going off if you do, because man, it is chilly today. Alright, so with that, we will get into it here. So we have 30 teams, so I'm just going to do... see, sequence generator 1 through 30. Alright, so this is literally just the most sketch website ever, but so here we go. We got 25, 11, 21, 21, 10, 4, 12, 19, 24, 14, 3, 22, 18, 27, 23, 2, 16, 36, 24, 29, 5, 26, 13, 7, 17, 9, and 15, and 8. Now what that actually means is I'm going to take those numbers, and it's going to be corresponding with the team list, and then we're going to do alphabetical order going down. So it's completely randomized, so everyone's just going to get a completely random team here. So with that, we will do New League, Random Players, 2020, of course. And we will call it BBGMA Reveal. Alright, now I don't want to be able to see any of this stuff right away, though I will boot into God mode right here. So quickly we go to God mode. Might have caught a little glimpse, but I was not focused on that. Alright, so now we're going to go to let's see, manage teams. Alright, now the first number on our list here was 25. 25 is, now I have to pull the list up. This is going to be the boring part, and then once we get into the actual teams here, we'll just go through them fairly quickly and get them out. So 25 here is going to be Jabba. Alright. Next up here we have 11 and then 21. So 11 is going to be Ben, who's tied. So I know this part's going to probably be the most boring part, but I assure you it will get interesting once we get into the actual team-by-team breakdowns. But we'll have to wait for a second for that. So we got 21 and 20. 21 is Pepper Runaka. Okay. Let's see. Next up here is 2021, which is BB Kinney, and 1, which is the Fleece Hawks. So we got Alright, next we got 10-4, so Goose and Ricky. Alright. And then we will also have a second Ricky, which will be Ricky 2. Not to confuse people, but of course. Alright. Next up after Ricky, we have 12, 19, and 28. 12 will be Maz. Alright. 19 is Boy Raijion, which is another team. Alright. And then we also had after them, so we had Boy Raijion, which is 19. Then we have 28 here. 28 is one of the 2 yet to be filled. So it will be one of the 2 CPU players it looks like we'll have. 28, we go down to 14, which is Ainsley. Alright. After Ainsley, we got 3, then 22, 18. So 3 is Billy. And Billy is going to be, let's see, make it easier here. And so that's BOI. Alright. So we had Billy, and then we have 22 and 18. 22 is Tilreek, which is another team. Alright. Next up here we got... I know that we're still at the bad part here, but I assure you we will start to get interesting once we start going through the actual teams and seeing which teams are good and which teams will have to do some creative GMing here. So we have Price, which is 23. So 22 goes to 18. So Fan, and then 27, which is Dylan. So Fan and then Dylan. Fan's an easy one here. Alright. Fan, and then after Dylan, we are now at 7. So 23 is Price, and then Gino. Alright, we are almost done with the boring part. We only got 1/3 left. 16, 30, and 6. So 16 is Big Destroyer. Oh, that is the perfect name for this. Big D. Yeah, I hope that was planned out, but if not, props to you, man. That was clever. And effective. So, yeah. Let's see. 16, 30. Okay, 30 is going to be like maybe me. Maybe we fill in. So 6, which is Killer Dan. And then we got alright. We are almost done here as we get into the last small group here. You can see Killer Dan I think was 6. Yep. So 6 we go into 24, which is Doug Forsyth. Next up here we got 24, 29, which is one of the CPU teams. CPU teams will probably be filled by the last minute walk-ons as per usual for this, I imagine. I know that most of these type of leagues always do like a last minute walk-on, so I'm not too worried about that. 29 we got 5 and 26. 5 is Archov. I'm gonna just put him down as Arch. I feel like that's easier. Okay. And he was 5, right? Yep. So 26 is Ricky 2. The fact we have 2 people that go by exclusively Ricky is great. Alright, next up after Ricky, 2, which is 26. We got 13, 7, and 17. 13 is Summer. Alright. 7. Fikey. Oh, I'm hyped. I don't know why. Fikey always hypes me, though. Okay, and now we get into the final 4 here. We got 17, 9, 15, and 8. So 17 is Mysterio. Dude, just having a guy in the league named Mysterio, full disclosure, I watched like 4 clips of Spider-Man Far From Home. Yeah, that literally just due to the fact that his name was Mysterio, and I was like, you know, Jake Gyllenhaal's a good actor. Let me watch some of the best clips. I don't know if you guys ever do that. Then we got Nico Fedov. I don't want to misspell his name. Not again. I've misspelled his name so many times, man. And it makes me feel bad every time. I'm going to just copy it straight in. Every single time I misspell it. To the point where I think people will just make fun of me for it now. And like, I make fun of myself for it. It's rough. I just call him Nico. And it's not even because, like, I don't know him. It's just disappointment, to be honest. Pure and utter disappointment. And my own failures. Really. Alright. So after 9, it's 15. Pem Pem. And we have one more, which is 8. And then 8 will be Alaska kind of chilly. But I know that's Tracy, so I'm going to put that in as Tracy. I also want to make a couple adjustments to a few others that I know who they are. Alright. So with that, we have our team names. Alright. And we will start with Ainsley, of course. Are you guys ready for this? You ready for the actual roster reveals? Yo, wait, did Hugh show up? No, I don't think Hugh showed up. Alright. Either way, with that, we'll get into the actual teams here, because you guys don't want to see me just entering numbers. So I'm just going to ping out for the people that we are now beginning. Alright. We'll start with A for Ainsley, and we'll work our way down to Tracy. Alright? So, looking at Ainsley's team here, so he has a 60 overall team rating, which is fairly strong normally in BBGM. But a few things to note here. Of his starters, 2 of his top 4 players are free agents this year. 2 are free agents next year. I think he's going to be an early season's power broker, try to maximize that value, finish a couple mid-tier seasons, but I think he's got to make some moves because I don't think he can win a title this year, and I don't know if you want to risk losing a 68 overall, but this is fairly roster. We will be zeroing everyone's finances, so they'll all be equal. Next here we got Archov, 70 overall. That's pretty high. Oh wow, Joseph Jericho Prostan. Yeah, that is a phenomenal player right there. So he's under contract for 3 years on an affordable deal. I'm gonna be honest. Looking at that right here, that looks like the glaring superstar. Granted, his supporting cast is pretty rough. Frankly, this should be one of the favorites to be one of the winning teams right off the bat. Very high starting pole position, so to speak. Now we take a look at B. Kinney. He did not get so lucky, but he does have some young players with a lot of potential, and also some solidly tradable assets. But this is this is the worst team we've seen so far, and probably will be a team that's looking to make moves. He's even already over the salary cap, so we might see some stuff with that. Next here we'll see Big Destroyer, a 59, but Watts is one of the most valuable contracts out there already, and Barksdale's got a lot of value. He's one of those guys that he could either make a move, picking up a guy with a big cap hit, or he could be at Power Broker year one because of the good financial spot he's in. Frankly, if I'm him, I'm pretty happy with this team, even though it's not going to be a competitor year one. Now we got Billy, Nick Wilson, being your best player, being expiring and 31. Billy might have to go win now to try to have a chance in the tourney. Because I don't know if a guy like Bailey Williams is someone you're going to be able to build around. Steve Williams, probably not either. I said Bailey Williams, meant Bailey Phillips. I'll highlight him right there. But honestly, I feel like you have a really high PER, most likely point guard. Yeah, I think if he wants to win, he's going to have to go win now from the start. Brickwall. Frankly, his team is pitiful. He has a really good player to build around on an expiring deal. That is the worst thing you could possibly have. And then they have an overpaid second option. He is in a horrible position to start off. He will be having to make moves up like all throughout the first season, or he's going to be on the tank show. And I don't know if you want a tank. We'll take a look at the draft classes. We'll be at least 6 years, maybe 10. So we'll take a look all the way out. Next year, we got Boy Rajon, another one of the big teams. They have a legitimate superstar that's going to anchor a team that's going to have consistently switching management. But they have a co-star on a really affordable deal, but nothing else after that. An expiring 59 overall. They're starting a 45 overall because they have no guards. Make a move. Get one of those really quality backup point guards we've seen. Next up here, Dree Baker and Dylan Stewart. Wow, this first year's free agency looks phenomenal. We'll see if those two stick around. This is actually a CPU team. So whoever gets this team, whoever comes in takes the next team. This is CPU 1, so it's whoever comes in take the next team. They are getting a stacked contender day one roster. So if you guys know anyone that's looking, hit them up for this team. Because, wow, this could be a championship team here. And no, there is no switching. I'm already putting my foot down on that. Absolutely no switching. Alright. So, how is this stream going for you guys? Adequate? I hope it's adequate. Next up here we got CPU 2. Of course, I don't know why I didn't think they were next to each other. This is a pretty okay team. Uchi's probably a guy they're going to want to trade. I don't know why all point guards that are named Uchi are really well-rounded defensively. But, hey, it's the same way in ABA. That being said, this is almost like a win-now team that just isn't quite at the hump. Kind of reminds me of some of those Jazz squads that were, like, really good but not quite title teams. They're one big trade away, but as far as assets, I mean, honestly, you might have to move Uchi to contend because look at that. Expiring in 2020. Co-star David Guthrie, same thing. So we'll see whoever picks up that team will have some decisions to make. Looking at Dylan's team here, a 65 overall. They start out with a really affordable long-term star. That means they're probably going to finish, assuming he does not leave. He has the winning badge, so as long as they're effective, he'll stay. They could potentially be a contender for a while. consistently winning 50-plus games. I don't know if they'll win a championship with this core unless they make some good moves, but they have some ammunition down here. They have a bad contract and a great value player right there. So we'll see what they do. Take a look at Fan's team. Fan's proven to be a good GM in leagues like AFF. So take a look at his team here. We got Tyler Teal, Major Davis, Kyle Dunham. That's a really solid starting 3. But they're way over the cap. They will not be able to spend money for ages. They'll be getting minimum deals and making trades. So we'll see how this roster does. I think we'll probably end up setting the hard cap at $130 million, which is $40 million over, but we're still taking a look at that. Either way, with that, we'll go on to the next team here. Fan's in a pretty good spot to contend right off the bat. His window's probably 3 years. The Fleece Hawks, they're up. I know Fleecer's been waiting for them. Philip Tice, expiring deal. But hey, you got another point guard literally right around the corner. Chris Brooks. That's a really strong backcourt right off the bat there. And then they got a pretty solid front court. This is a well-rounded team that doesn't have any stars, so they're probably going to be sellers early on, maybe try to tank for a year before making a push. So I could totally see them trading a Philip Tice away for a big deal to a contender. But we'll see what happens with that. Next up, Gino. Probably one of the best GMs in the tourney, in my opinion. One of my early favorites to consistently improve his team. Doesn't start out with the best team here. Biggest piece of value is going to be Jeremy Masecki. Not sure how much that's going to help him, especially considering his best player currently is a point guard as well, who's on a pretty rough long-term deal. I do think that's a very tradable deal if you want to build around Messick, but he might leave in 2021, and you don't necessarily want to take that chance because we will be using in-game referrals on the insane difficulty. So we'll be taking a look there and seeing how Gino does. Alright, Goose. Reggie King. You can't make that up. Reggie. Seriously? I guess the game likes Goose. His logo better be a goose. Speaking of that, now is I feel like a great time to mention it. If you want a logo for the tournament, as long as it has your team name in it, you can even Photoshop it in horribly, you can get that logo thrown up there. Just send them to me. I will add them, but they got to be in by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Alright? With that, we'll go on to the next team here. I think Goose is in a pretty strong position. Granted, Nico Iglesias is a free agent, and he does have to start a rebuild here. Reggie King's a good guy to build around. I like the fact they have a defensive big man and a three-point shooting guard. They could use some overall better players, but this is far from a bad team. I think it's actually going to way overperform expectations. So, next here, we have a team that is my team. Granted, I will probably give it up to the first person that joins, or basically let the CPU run it, because I'm going to be too busy live streaming and helping with the export. So, to each his own here, but we're 3 people shy as of now of having everyone out and doing what they need to be doing. We have a pretty good staff too. Looking at this team, it is absolutely horrible. I feel bad for whoever inherits it. You got JT Marshall, he's good. Jack Hill, he's good. And a German. Yeah, alright. Next up here, Fikey's team. Man, he starts out with 2 expiring really solid players. He's got to move them year 1. Maybe you've moved Brandon Williams. Maybe use the 3 of them as ammunition to go get a superstar. Because, frankly, this team doesn't have much else around it. You got an expiring contract in Kyle Richardson. I mean, all of his good players are expiring. This is not a good position for Fikey. He's going to be digging himself out of a hole to start this. Next up here, we got Jabba. Just Jabba. I don't know why I'm saying these names twice. I know they're only once, but can you guys blame me? Yeah, so with that, we got Aiden Bullock. Aidan? Yeah. This is not a great team, but a lot of usable assets, including what might be potentially the most valuable player in the league that we've seen among prospects. Almost 70 potential, a 55 overall on his rookie deal. There's so much you can do with that. They got another really solid rookie right there. This team has some of the best contracts in the league off their bench. They should be very excited about their possibilities as becoming a really good team towards the mid part of the tourney. Killer Dan. That is a nasty contract. That is a contract. That is another great contract. Wow, Trey Allen is insane. He's just as good as the last one we saw. We got some really good rookies on this team here. We'll highlight the 2 of them right there. They're going for the first overall pick pretty clearly. But, man, this could be an exciting core. All right, next up here, King Price. Help me with that in the comments section. Trey Turner, expiring, but has a lot of value. I definitely could see him getting traded to a contender. I don't know how active a GM he is. He came on just for the tourney here. Matthew Musters, 2023, so a pretty big deal. And I don't think he's going to live up to the potential. Maybe he'll be a quality defensive player. They don't have any major great prospects that last longer than a year. This is a rough spot. This is going to be one of the harder positions to dig out of. Might need to go down real low for a bit. And I don't know if you want to recover from that hole, but we'll see. This is the first tourney, so we don't know yet. Maz Higgins' team. 68-71. Expiring. This is going to be a stacked free agency year one. Great. It just has to be the first year that we're still figuring out how to do everything. Hey, look, another really solid free agent. They're both guards. Top 3 players, all guards. Meanwhile, Jordan Smith might be one of the best contracts in the league. He's a point guard that shoots, passes, and dribbles well. They age beautifully. He's on a cheap deal for 4 years. Probably going to be a day one All-Star. If I'm Maz, I'm building this team into a contender. Go out and get some of those big men we've seen on other teams. You are in a pretty decent cap situation here. Move some of your bench. Move them, and you're in a great spot. Mysterio. Devin Azuma. He's going to be one of the best players in the league eventually, hopefully. But he's only signed for 2 years. But I think their window is 2 years. They definitely have a strong core around him. They just need to go out, make some smart moves with some of these contracts on their bench here. Potentially move a prospect like Tomas, and they could be right in the contender race. They have a good blend of prospects and win-now guys to make a good push. But we'll see what they do. Next up here, we got Nico. Wow, that is a hell of a backcourt right there. 362 pluses in their backcourt. And I think 2 of them have the 3-point badge and all 3 have the passing badge. That is going to be some fun Warriors basketball. And they got a player named Childress. You can't go wrong with that. Unless you're the Hawks paying way too much for one that's coming from Greece. Next up here, we got Pem. DJ Wins. Expiring. Tyler Gardner. It's good for 2 years. Richard Gillis on an expiring deal. Frankly, this is a team where you can have a lot of paths you can go. You can start stacking up for a win now, or you can start blowing it up. But it's not a great spot either way. Kind of mediocre, frankly. Next up here, we got Pepper. Yep, just Pepper. Jamie Fisher. That's a great deal. Franchise player right there. A really great value. Marcus Toth they have one of the best contracts in the league right now. He could expire. He might go down a little bit, but you have a borderline all-star guy they can flip right here, knowing they're not losing very much at all. Move him. Get picks. Build your team with him. You have your choice of contenders that will be vying for him. Get prospects. Get picks. Make it work. Cole Allen, also on a rookie deal, could potentially be moved to another team for picks or kept. We'll see. Next up here, we got Ricky. This is OG Ricky, the original Ricky. 61.73 on a 2-year deal. That's phenomenal. They have a really good deal on this power forward. He might underperform. Power forwards have a typical tendency of doing that, but they got an affordable front court and a great guard. Just get some man in the middle, Ricky, and you're good. You got $30 million in cap almost. Make a move. Make it happen. Year 1 free agency is stacked. You just don't need to hurt too much till then, and you got this in the bag. Ricky 2. Brad Lone, superstar. Great second star. Note, Brad Lone is expiring. They do have some really solid players. If I'm them, I'd go win now. You have a core to do it. You have 2 legitimate superstars and a quality, affordable, long-term center. One of the best deals in the league. You got ammunition to make a move. You got some cap flexibility. Move some of your prospects. Move Rodgers. Make a move. Acquire a superstar. Win now. Worry about the consequences later. Just ride it out as your stars get older, and you might have a chance to win the tourney here. Taking a look at Summer here. I'm still saying these names twice. What's with me, man? It's probably because I'm wearing the Kyrie shirt. But, hey, it was on sale. Jake Grimsley here, 61.68, expiring. Man, that's not ideal, but I think he'll make it work. I think that you can move him for a ton or extend him. I think either option is plausible. I'd personally lean towards moving him and Caleb, offering a team, hey, you give me your future and picks, I'll give you these two. Because what you're doing is you're opening yourself up, you're tanking, right? But you also move those two guys, and you mortgage a future. A team will have to pay you probably close to 6 first-round picks, the entire tourney of first-round picks. I think they can only do 3 at once. I think that's what we said in the rules, only 3 at once. But you'll be able to trade an entire slew of first-round picks for those two guys, and they could completely bust or leave them in free agency day one. So we'll see how that goes. Now we got Ty Jackson, Tyler Adavia expiring, Taylor Brown expiring, Michael Ruffin expiring, Matt and Gebhardt expire. Wow, an entire starting lineup expiring. They're a contender for sure, but they might just all leave in free agency. All right, Team Tilt Tyreek, or Tilrick as I'm calling it. They got a franchise player and some really quality starters. Don't know if they're a true contender yet, but we'll see. They got some really great prospects as well to move around, but they're also over the cap. This team's a contender, but I don't know if they're really going to win the chip. We'll see. Now taking a look at our last team, Tracy, Alaska's GM. They got one of the best deals up front. They got Ainsley. Trade him to Ainsley. Not a great deal, so trade him. Potentially a great power forward, but also potentially an albatross contract. We'll probably find out by the end of next season. And the same thing at point guard. This team's go big or go home, and I think they're leaning go home, but Cornelius Dixon might be the difference maker. He could be Otto Porter, or he could knock those Wizards into a contending spot. That's a Wizards joke because they're the Washington Monuments old logo. Either way, you guys got until 7 a.m. tomorrow Eastern Standard Time to get me their logos in. We'll be doing this tourney. We'll take a look real quickly at free agency and the draft right before we begin here. Nothing special in free agency, a bunch of 50s and such. And now we will take a look at the draft, see if there's any phenoms coming up. A couple guys with 70-plus potential there. A couple guys here. No real game-breaking superstars. I guess Brian O'Manning, probably the first really great one. Trying to see, is there any way I can see future into the draft? I don't think so. No. Just these 3. So, yeah. It's going to be a pretty good season, or a pretty good 6 seasons. I'm going to configure this export, and I'll get that out to you. You guys got until tomorrow at 7 a.m. to get me your logos. And then team confirmation will be at 8. That means you can no longer move teams. And then we'll open trading up at 9:30. And our goal will be to have the go live at 10 when we officially start the tourney. Maybe we'll open trading up at 10. Stay tuned for that. Check your Discord messages because we'll be running this on Discord. Anyway, join the server if you guys want to check it out. I would put a link in the description, but you'll just have to find my Reddit post because it seems like YouTube does not like that and will totally strike my video. Or you could just join at discord.gg/gwood. Pretty simple right there. So with that, I'm going to do some minor settings changes here. Mostly going to, let's see, 0.6, that's good. Minimum roster size 10, 15, that's good. Lottery is good, 3. Draft rounds 2. Salary cap, I will set you at 120. It's kind of a reminder for myself. Budget is off. Now let's see. Where can I equal? Yeah, I just got to set the last few settings and then we're good to go. Yes. Alright. I think we are all set here. Finances. I turned budget off. Yeah, alright. Tools. Export league. And we are good to go. Alright. So anyway, this will be up shortly, guys. And taking a look at the power rankings. Early first season favorites are Ty Jackson, the CPU, Archov, Tilric, Fan, Billy the Kid, Dylan, Ricky 2, CPU once again, that's an open spot, Nico Fedev, and Mysterio, and Ainsley's the only other team over 60. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great evening, and let's get this going.